Every season, there's a name that shocks the fan base, a player nobody saw coming who ends up making real noise on the field. And with the 2025 Chargers, I've got a strong feeling we're going to see a few of those breakout stories. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Who's your sleeper pick this year? Which under-the-radar name do you think will surprise everyone in training camp? Drop your predictions in the comments. I'll be reading them. Now, let's get into it. These are my top 10 sleepers to watch for the Chargers heading into 2025. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. We'll count it down from 10 to 1. At number 10, I've got Brenden Rice. Now, this one's a bit of a long shot, not because he lacks talent, not at all, but because the path for him to make the 53 is a little crowded. He'll probably start on the practice squad again unless something changes during camp, but let me tell you, I saw him at training camp last year in person, and this dude can play. Great route runner, sticky hands, he looked like a younger version of Josh Palmer, which is saying something. The problem isn't talent, it's opportunity. There's just so much competition in that wide receiver room right now. Between this year's draft picks and a few undrafted guys flashing already, it's a tight battle. But if Rice can stay healthy and keep doing what I saw last offseason, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets elevated during the year and makes an actual impact. He's reliable, polished, and of course, has that family name. Jerry Rice was on the sidelines last year watching his son. Something to watch. Now, let's move to number 9, Rocket Sanders. This is the kind of player that screams sleeper. I mean, the size, the power, the speed. For a guy that big to be running in the 4.4 seconds, that's rare. He's the type of back that can wear down a defense late in games, but also break one if he gets into the second level. The question for Sanders is whether he can edge out someone like Hassan Haskins or Kamani Vidal for a depth spot. The top of the depth chart is locked with Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton, but that third or fourth RB slot is wide open. And honestly, if we try to stash Rocket Sanders on the practice squad, I think another team will snatch him up. He's too talented. In another draft, he probably goes in the 4th or 5th round. Now, if we're talking long-term upside, this is a guy you develop behind Najee and Hampton. Let him absorb the system, and he could absolutely take meaningful carries by mid-season if someone goes down. Keep an eye on him in training camp. Number 8. Justin Ibigby. This is one of those names that flew under the radar after last year's draft, but I remember how fired up Jim Harbaugh was when we took him. That was a dead giveaway, where the staff saw something special. Physically, he has strength, the base, and the ability to anchor and control the line. He just needed polish. Now that he's got a full year under his belt, I'm expecting real progress. Coming in at number 7, Trickwez Bridges. The size alone makes you stop and look. I mean, a 6'3" corner who can run? That's rare. Physically, he looks like he was built in a lab. The question is, can he develop the technique and feel for the game to actually earn snaps? He reminds me of a rawer version of Dean Leonard. A big body, strong, long, aggressive, but just needs refinement. And given how the cornerback room is shaping up with guys like Dante Jackson, Benjamin St-Juste, and Nico Reed competing, Bridges might not get much early run. But I wouldn't be shocked if he makes the roster, contributes on special teams, and slowly starts earning more reps. The tools are there, and if he puts it all together, he could turn into a very useful player in a hurry. Now, at number 6, Trey Lance. Yeah, you heard me. I know this one's going to surprise some people, but here's why I'm including him. The Chargers have a weird habit of turning around careers that were on the ropes. Look at Tier Tart, look at Poona Ford, and even older examples like Austin Eckler. We give guys second chances, and sometimes it works. Trey Lance hasn't lived up to the hype. We all know that. But he's got tools. The arm, the mobility. The problem was always reps and consistency. Now that he's in a stable environment, behind a locked-in starter in Justin Herbert, and with a coaching staff that has a strong development track record, I think there's a shot he sneaks into the QB2 conversation. Taylor Heineke probably holds that job for now. But if Lance flashes in preseason, especially with the second and third team offense, it might not be so locked in. And if nothing else, it'll be interesting to see how the Chargers handle him. He's a lottery ticket, but sometimes those pay off. At number 5, I have Luke Grimm, one of the more underrated additions to this roster. Honestly, I don't understand how this guy went undrafted. He's polished, he's productive, and he's reliable. Great hands, great route runner. Just one of those receivers who always finds a way to get open. I saw him put up solid numbers against BYU, and he just looked the part. The comparison being floated is that he could be a Ladd McConkey light, and I see it. He might not have the same top-end burst, but stylistically, he brings a similar skill set. At number 4, KeAndre Lambert Smith. This one's borderline, maybe not quite a sleeper since fans are already talking about him, but I still don't think he's getting enough buzz. We all questioned the value of the pick when it happened. I definitely didn't have him going that high in my mocks. But then you dig into the tape and you realize why the Chargers pulled the trigger. Speed, and not just regular speed. I'm talking game-changing deep threat speed. He was one of the best deep ball receivers in all of college football last year. And with Herbert's arm, that's a match made in heaven. He brings something unique to this WR room, and I think the team is going to use him that way. Down to number 3, Steo Clotz, who's probably the most interesting name on this list in terms of versatility. This is the guy who might allow Scott Matlock to focus more on defense this year. We used Matlock at fullback last season out of necessity. But now, with Clotz in the building, we might have a real offensive chess piece. He's built like a classic fullback, but has better hands and more athleticism than you'd expect. Coming in at number 2, R.J. Mickens. I was shocked he fell as far as he did in the draft. This guy was productive, smart, athletic, checked so many boxes, and now he's in a room where opportunity is everywhere. With Derwin James moving all over the field, someone has to step up and fill that traditional safety role when Derwin lines up in the box, or even in the slot. Mickens could be that guy. He's got a knack for zone coverage, reacts quickly, and isn't afraid to come downhill. And when you look at the number of safeties we brought in, Eddie Jackson, Elijah Molden, Tony Jefferson, you realize we're throwing darts to find the right fit. But Mickens might already be that guy. Don't be shocked if he ends up getting real defensive snaps early this season. And finally, number 1 on this list, Oronde Gadsden II. I was already high on him, but now I'm raising the ceiling. I originally saw him as a stash and develop type, someone who'd flash a bit in year 1 but wouldn't truly break out until 2026. Now, I think he's ready right now. He's already building chemistry with Herbert, showing off clean routes, sure hands, and the kind of versatility you want from a modern tight end. He can line up in the slot, outside, in line, and he's being used that way in camp. I'm starting to think 400 to 500 yards this season is not just possible, it might be likely. And if things click the way they appear to be clicking already, we might be looking at the next great mid-round tight end success story. Mark Andrews, George Kittle, they were guys like this too once. I'm not making the direct comparison, but I'm just saying Gadsden has that kind of upside. So there you go, 10 names, 10 players who aren't at the center of the hype machine right now, but easily could be once the season gets rolling. And now it's your turn. Who's your sleeper pick for the Chargers this year? Drop it in the comments. Let's get that conversation going.